Welcome to Life Coaches Unfiltered, where Desiree, Doree, and Michelle, three life coaches, are here to answer the questions you have, but we're afraid to ask. No fluff, no filters, just real talk to help you navigate life's big challenges. Let's dive in.
And welcome back to another episode of Life Coaches Unfiltered. Today we're talking about work-life balance. So, if someone secretly recorded your evenings, would it look like you have work-life balance or that you just switched from one job to another? It's like, yeah. Today we're getting painfully real about what balance looks like, what so many of us feel like, why so many of us feel like we're failing at it, and how to create something more sustainable than the hustle, which is followed by burnout, which we talked about in the previous episode. So before we get into our topic today, we do a little quick check-in. How are y'all doing today? A little rainy and yucky
I
here.
know, foggy. I was just like, oh, it's typical English weather. Apart from the cold, there's no cold. Because normally it comes rain, fog, and cold. But it's rain, fog, and 60 something degrees, which is just abnormal for
Maybe,
me.
maybe
For
people,
you, yes.
it might
Uh,
be getting
and then the
colder.
time change. Ugh,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the time
I
change.
hate the fact that we lost that hour.
yeah.
You know what I could have
It's
done in that hour?
it's about a week. It's like about a week into it's when I start paying for that hour. I don't know. I like I today was a weird, like I kept looking at the clock going, I don't know what time it is. And y'all, like last week, I like lost a week. I went to let's see, I went to my chiropractor and they're like, you're 20 minutes early. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought my appointment was at this time. I went to my dentist the day later and they went, you're a week early. So I've already sprung for it. I don't know where everybody else has been.
Dang,
That's
girl,
so
a
funny.
week early?
A week early. They were like, your appointment's next week. And but they fit me in, so it was good. So I just
That's
told my
good.
mom, I said, I think I'm just gonna start showing up places that I need to go and just walk in and go, oh, I don't have an appointment or and just go, can you fit me in? And just make this my own.
That's funny.
Make the world fit into your Dory bubble. Dory talks about how she lives in a Dory bubble. This is what life is like in the Dory bubble.
That's not a bad bubble, to be perfectly honest. If people can fit you in, like, oh, I'm a week early, but can you fit me in? Oh, sure.
It
I mean,
was, yeah, she was like, oh my gosh, she goes, this never happens, but we actually have a dental hygienist who had a cancellation just a little while ago, and she has an opening right now. I was like, okay.
Talk
that's,
about manifestation.
I
You're
know,
putting it to the
right?
test, woman.
Totally. How was your week, Desi?
Mine, I had
Positive.
Before
had
checking
some
in.
family come in. It was really awesome. Couple girl cousins and my sister, and we had girl time, and it was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, and anyway, it was so funny because and I could tell this story because I've told it anyway. We were leaving the house and it was like, okay, Desi, I unplugged the heating pad and I turned this off and I unplugged this and I was like, oh my God, your anxieties are my anxieties. Thank you for making me feel normal. It was like these cousins, we didn't really know each other very well when we were younger. Um, we didn't have the chance, but it was just like they just folded right into our sisterhood and it was really beautiful and I loved it. But I was exhausted. Like I got a new roof on Saturday and like, oh my God, like where did my weekend go? I needed lots of naps this weekend to get through.
I
It's
understand.
just tiredness. So
I was at a wrestling tournament on Friday, but it felt like Saturday because normally you go to wrestling tournaments on a Saturday and not a Friday. So that kind of threw me off for the weekend, literally. Did a turn and burn to Asheville?
ooh, like in the same day?
Yes, ma'am.
Oof.
Dang. That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
4 hours of each way of driving. So it's 8 hours of driving plus the tournament. Oh no,
Yeah.
thank you.
But
No.
hey, we made it. We did it, and we got to see my son wrestle in the
Oh,
championship, so that was good. So yeah.
awesome. Awesome, awesome. All
Yeah.
right. So speaking of work-life balance, um, what do you guys how do you think your work-life balance is?
Shit.
What did
Michelle
you
said,
say?
she
I
said
said
shit.
shit. Right now. Right now. Right now. It's shit. Very
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I need to switch off a little bit earlier than I do. But I'm getting better. I'm trying to, I when I tell my clients to do certain things, I'm trying to do them myself, but sometimes you just, when you're in a zone, and especially if you run a business, you've got all these ideas and you just can't switch off because it's just like, oh yeah, la la la. But I do need to switch it off. And I do need to switch it off earlier in the evening because I will be in brain mode and work mode until about 9 and I need to shut it off.
Hmm. I'm
So,
finding for myself that my it's not just the work, it's my life balance.
mm,
Um, is off kilter. And so I feel like yeah, between, the business and my other job and, my life itself, it is like spinning a lot of plates and finding like, what I guess for myself right now, one of the things I'm questioning is what is balance? What is that? And what is the sweet spot for me? Because when I used to think of what balance was, it was, very like I'm going to be chill all the time. I'm going to be like reading books and like just kind of like, kick back. And I found that does not make me happy. So I'm a go, go, go kind of person. And so, when I do that, it doesn't, yeah. So finding out what that sweet spot is where I've got just enough going on that keeps me interested and motivated and kind of moving, but also enough where I'm not like stressed out. Yeah. Desi, what about you?
Um, have a lot of part-time jobs. And then the business. And like I just find myself, I was at music bingo last night, returning phone calls and emails and texts on my phone. While I was trying to play music bingo, and I was like, this isn't fun. Why am I doing this to myself? I just need to let it be, right? It's not, the world is not going to come to an end that you don't answer this email right away. So it's that. Like I feel like I'm working all the time. Like Saturday, um, like Friday was a crazy, awesome, busy day. And then Saturday was like roofers on my roof at 6:30 in the morning. And so it's like, and I had a work call and like it was just, and I was exhausted. And so Sunday I was like, okay, I'm just gonna set time aside on Sunday. No, no, I worked yesterday. And so it's just frustrating because I'm like, I feel like I have to work all the time, but I feel like I'm behind all the time. And so I feel like I'm on this treadmill where it's like broken and there's no off switch. So, and I'm like, how am I doing this to myself? I know that I'm doing it to myself. Um, but it's tough because I really care about both of like these little part-time jobs. They're passions for me. And I feel like I'm making a difference in these communities, but also dang, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just I can't like I need to go get on my yoga mat and slow down. And like when you talked about reading books, Dory, the only books that I really read are the ones I listen to in the car when I'm driving around. Like if it's not on audiobook, I'm not reading it right now. 'Cause I just don't have the time, but I love learning. And so, that's podcast and books for me. And if it's not in audio, I can't consume it right now because I just don't have time. I don't know how people have time to like watch TV and stuff. Yeah, I don't, maybe I'm spending too much time on Instagram Reels. That's probably my problem.
I
I'm
will say like the TV thing yeah, I feel like that's gotten out of balance for me. I've been tuning in too much to TV when there's other things to be done. So that's why when I say my life balance is out of whack. That's out of, yeah, too much of that.
So I guess, one thing that I'm hearing is that work-life balance can look different for everybody, right? Especially what you said, Doree, when you were picking up that you're a go, go, go person. So you're not happy sitting at home just kicking back and reading a book. Like, why do you think that is? Is that just how you're hardwired? Like Michelle, what would work-life balance better? You said your work-life balance was shit. So what would better work-life balance look like for you? Like what would you do in all that free time, girl?
You go first, Dory.
I'm very much like you, Desiree. For me, it's about learning. So my free time would be, right now, just a little bit about what's on kind of my plate, without sharing too much. Is that, I have a full-time job. I have a business as well. Um, we have this amazing podcast, which I don't consider like this is what keeps me in track because I was excited about being here with y'all. So I include that in the good side of everything. But, I was an art major in college. So for me, my next exploration is possibly doing a pottery class, a sculpting class. But I also am doing comedy as well, which I have a show I'm doing this Sunday. So when I'm doing things like that feed my creative side, my learning side, my creative side, that to me creates a good balance. But when I'm too analytical and over in the other side of my world where I'm like so focused on I have a wonderful friend who calls her 9 to 5 her job. So when I'm in my job, I'm very, very analytical and all of that. But when I'm in my other stuff and I'm being able to do that and be creative, that's a good balance. But when I'm incorporating things like TV, too much TV and things like that, I get out of balance. Not enough meditation, out of balance. So there's a lot of things like that. When I'm not feeding my spiritual, my creative side of myself, I get a little wonky. And so that's where, for me, the balance is being able to feed my creative and spiritual side of myself because my analytical self gets ton of food. There a ton of it, and I'm out of balance when I'm like that. Which right now I can honestly say I'm out of balance. There, I'm confessing. There we go. Michelle, your turn now.
Oh,
Confess. Tell us everything.
confess, confess. Um, I mean, I'm trying, I'm trying. I'm definitely still working out, which has to be in my work-life balance. And that helps me. I would like to add more workout time. But then in my mind, I'm like, I need to go out and tell everyone about my programs and what's going on. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't have a job because the business is my job, and so I need to go and hustle. Um, so I'm trying to be very intentional with the places that I'm going to market myself. Um, But ideally, if I'm going to be very honest, I just want to have time to do things because I feel like I'm spending a lot of time in my business and I don't really sit in front of the TV that much. When I do, I kind of binge watch for a little bit, but I'm not really a TV person. I'd rather sit behind my laptop and brainstorm and do ideas. That's kind of how I've gotten. Um, So I would like to not be on my laptop over the weekends. I feel like this is a confession. I think do we need to have
I
that
love
song
it.
by
No, I
Usher?
love it.
Like
I'm gonna
these are
say
my
later, bless you, my
confessions.
child. Goes to a couple of That's
When you say confession, I think of like confession in the Catholic sense where we had to
why
go
I was
confess
like,
our
we're gonna say
sins.
bless you.
That's so
Like
funny. Well, I'm got the Usher song in my head, so Um, so yeah, I really kind of feel that I don't want to work on the weekend, but I do work at the weekends. I need to. And it's not the fact that I don't manage my time because I feel like I manage my time, I time block and I know when I'm productive, I'm very productive in the mornings, in the afternoons. It's kind of like, all right, I want the menial tasks in the afternoons and everything like that. So yeah, yeah, I think I just need someone to just pull my laptop away and say, look, let's just go and do this. But then sometimes if I organize myself, then I can do that. It's just a balance. And I would like to sit and read a book. I really would. One year, I think I read 12 books in one year. I'm not a reader, and I read 12 books. But this last year, I read none. I read none. This year, I'm not, and I wish I was like you, Desiree, podcasts and the audio. I can listen to podcasts, but when I'm listening to a book, I have to have the book and the audio
Yeah.
together for me to read really fast. I'm a really slow reader, so it takes me a while to kind of finish a book. And that's how I was able to read those 12 books because I had the book and the audio and I could literally, and I was taking it all in through the book, but then listening. It's very, very bizarre. I wish I'd known this when I was younger.
Well, I
That
mean, would
and
you
I
have had like the little recording with your Fisher Price record wheel? We didn't have audio formats that you could put on your phone, Michelle.
I know. Because back then it's like people would just talk to me and it's just kind of like getting in, and then you have these PowerPoint presentations and I'm taking notes. I'm like, I don't learn like that. So, you know, um, yeah, that's kind of me. I want more time, weekend time, but then again, I feel like I have to be busy. I want to be doing things. So,
Like I
yes.
I was thinking about this last night on my way home from music bingo. There's some non-negotiables in my life. Like I have to have like a monthly prescription of a couple improv shows to go and watch and like one or two music bingos. And that feels like okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting some social interaction. But I have completely dropped off of crafting. Like I guess it's ADHD, like I don't have any balance in creating, and that's really important to me. Like I used to really love cooking. It's hard to cook when you like for one person, you know? Sometimes I'll cook and I'll have too much stuff and I'll call my neighbor and be like, "Hey, do you want some beef stew?" But yeah, it just feels so like I feel like I work all the flipping time. And that even if I'm not sitting in front of my computer, I'm thinking about things or I have this to-do list going in my head and I'm not able to switch it off. And God, I cannot really remember. I mean, last year my sister rented a condo at the beach and was like, "Hey, you can come hang out with us," right? So I went to the beach for like I don't know, it wasn't even a week. But it didn't like I need to go on a real ass vacation or do something, go out in the woods. Like um, I do go camping, but I'm more working. I'm working an event when I go spend time in my camper. So it's not relaxing and it's not, yeah, I'm just like, holy Helen, I've got to figure this out because I feel like, but I also, was mulling this over and I was like, is this, the cost of living has gone up for everybody. And I feel like in this day and age, we're not secure in our jobs. So even if you have a job, a corporate job with really great benefits, like every year or two, there's going to be a reorganization, and chances are things are going to shift dramatically. And so it's like we can't, there is very little financial security, even if you have a job. So people have side hustles because we got to diversify our income. And then like the work life balance goes out the window. So
Mhm.
like, are we trying to fight an uphill battle here? We have these little devices in our pockets, which are great because, you have a little GPS and you can access your banking account. You can tap it on things and it magically pays. I don't have my phone set up to do that. But my sister was we were at Walmart and she's trying to tap it to the reader and the lady's like, our Walmart doesn't do
Not
that.
Walmart. Mm-mm. Walmart does
She
not do that.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. I was like, oh, imagine that. Um, but yeah, like you know, we can't escape it as easily because we're walking around with our email in our pocket and people have our phone number and
Mhm.
yeah. What are yours?
I was
Like?
It's funny that you mentioned about the side hustle because I went out to an event yesterday and and I said to someone, I said, wouldn't it be nice if you could just be guaranteed that you're gonna be able to keep your job for however long and that you don't have to work a side hustle, that you can just have this job because it's gonna pay you well enough in order for you to have the life that you want. And the woman I sat next to, she was like, yeah, I wish that was true. Because she was telling me that she works, has a job, and then she's a real estate agent as her side hustle. And I'm just kind of like, wow. Like for and that to me, a real estate agent, I feel like they're on call 24/7, and the fact that she has a job. I'm just like, wow. But it's crazy. So you bring up a very good point, Desiree, that I'm sure the majority of people have a job and then a side hustle because of the increase in society of things and,
I had a
just
friend
trying
reach
to
out.
survive.
I had a friend reach out to me recently who was just in total despair because um, she was working so much and it was so stressed. Well, she'd been laid off from her previous job.
Mm.
And so she brought that PTSD into this job and was so afraid that she was going to lose this job after it took her so long to get this new job that she was bending over backwards and pouring everything she had into this new job. And I just was like, you at some point, being able to go, where am I trying to go with this? Being able to step into this new role, but also start to heal from the previous stuff. And I think that that's, I when I started my new jobs, anytime I started a new job, and y'all, I'm a job hopper. That is who I've been. It freaks people out a lot. But I'm one of those people that when it's not doing it for me anymore, I go find somewhere where it is. And so, um, and I work in the software space. So that's sort of kind of what we do in software to some degree. But, you know, it's about like being able to, when you show up in your new job, you get to show up whoever you want to be. And a lot of times we bring our previous personalities back into that new job and expect different results. And one of the things I've had to train myself, and I say train myself when I step into a new role, is who do I want to show up as when I'm in this new role? Do I want to show up as Doree? And I use the years of who I was, Doree 3.0, Doree in her 30s. Do I want to show up as Doree 4.0? Do I want to show up as Doree 5.2? How do I want to show up when I show up in these roles? Because when you do, you're creating, and I'm a big manifestor believer in that. You create the space around you by who you show up as. And if I show up as the ball buster go-getter that I was in 3.0, 4.0, then I'm setting that expectation and that bar for myself. And then things can get out of balance quick. Sorry, I just kind of ran with that and rambled, but um, I'm a big believer that a lot of times we create this out of balance for ourselves. And so therefore we are the ones who can create the balance back, put things back into balance. But it's about assessing and adjusting, what were our thoughts and our actions and making sure that they are congruent with the way that we want things to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
I
being
think,
said, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
That being said, I don't, the hilarious thing is, I don't like, when I was a software developer, I was like, oh yeah, I could get that done in like 45 minutes, or I'll have that done tomorrow, you know? And then I sit down and I'm like, oh crap, like I thought this was going to be easier, or I run into a hiccup, right? I don't necessarily, I have in some instances, it's not all of them, I have this like delusional thinking that I can get things done, that I don't have, like I'm not building time in for all the staff meetings and all the emails that I have to do and the interruptions that you have and the task switching. And so I don't know what my freaking capacity is, right? And so I take on too much and then you become overloaded and then that's a cycle.
Yes. That's huge. That is I do that to myself. I've seen that around people that I'm very close to. And then it's a recipe for just like having this moment of where it's just like it becomes too much and yeah, and it's not. I do that as well. I love that where you said I don't know what my own capacity is.
Mm.
And I way overestimate my capacity. And I found the older that I get, the less capacity I have, just from a perspective of like, I don't wanna like I used to. And so it just kind of, but Dory 3.0 is still trying to run the operating system, but Dory 5.2 body is like, not happening. And so it becomes like this battle of, yes, I can do this. And I sign up for all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, I'll do this. And absolutely count me in. I'll be there and all that. And then when it comes time for stuff, it's like, I don't have the capacity mentally, physically, or spiritually to do what I need, what I've committed to do.
Yeah. I think you made a good point, Dory, about your friend and how she is working and not saying no. And you know, I've had clients who have done the same thing where, one lady, she had to be on call, and she said that if she didn't answer her email within an hour, her boss would fly off the handle. And I'm just kind of like, what? Like, what time are you responding to these emails? And sometimes it would be like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
Oh,
And I'm just kind of like, no, we need to shut this shit down. I'm so sorry.
mm-mm.
Because,
Mm.
and then she was like saying, I have no time to exercise. I have no time to cook. I have, her life was revolving around work. She wasn't being sociable. She didn't have the time and she felt stressed and anxious because her boss could, message her anytime and she had to respond. And I'm kind of like, is this a good working like environment for you, for your body and your mind and physically? And I did not do this, but she decided that she wanted to quit her job. And it was just from the conversations that we were having. Because I said, she was just like, yeah, I just have no time. And I'm just like, well, what do you want? What are the things that you want? And she goes, I want to have a job where I can log on at this time and log off at that time and my work is done and then I can go and enjoy. And I'm just like, okay, well, you have to make the decision. It's not me. And after the conversation, it was just like, yeah, no, I haven't really set the boundaries have kind of been broken, and I'm not saying no, and I can't say no because I'm afraid. And I'm just like, you shouldn't feel afraid in your job to say no
Yeah.
because
Afraid.
afraid. And
Woo.
we go back to the capacity. You are at capacity. You're done. You can't function. You don't have a life. What's more important? You living your life how you want it or someone dictating? Because right
Yeah.
now your boss is dictating how you live your life. So it can be hard. And saying the word no is very difficult.
No
Yeah.
is a complete sentence.
It is a complete sentence, and
Yeah.
I love it. No.
I worked for a boss that was very she didn't respect anybody's boundaries and I lasted maybe 6 months there and I went in and quit. Like I was like, I'm not work this is not healthy.
Hmm.
Um when you're when everybody's working late so much so that we have menus of all the local restaurants because they are delivering. This was like early 2000s before DoorDash. Like somebody would have to go pick it up.
Mm.
Like we were eating dinner every night together in meetings and then back at work at 8 a.m. And that was
Oh,
Yeah.
5 days a week. And then a lot of us were coming in on the weekends. And I was like, this is a management issue. Like,
Yeah.
this is not like, this is ridiculous. We can't be doing this for weeks on end.
hmm.
Um, yeah, but she didn't respect us. And I was like, I'm not working for someone who doesn't doesn't value their employees. So
Hmm.
one thing that like kind of bubbled up for me when I was thinking about this is where do our values come into this work-life balance? Like we talked a little bit about what our work-life balance would look like if it was better. So some of us want to read, some of us are like, no, I like more creative outlets. Like where do our values come into play and how can we take these values to help us figure out what the work life balance is right for us? Because I think we've all agreed that a it's a custom recipe for each one of us, right? Um, and so how do you think that there's an interplay with values and work life balance?
You start because you're always me and Dory are always starting, so I'm
I
putting you
know
on
I
the
was put
spotlight,
y'all on the
Desiree.
spot.
Confess
Um,
everything. Come on, Desiree, confess. I'm
oh my
kidding.
gosh. So I mean, like for me, I value creative pursuits, right? And I value like family time. Even though I don't have my own little family of like, I value time with my family. Um, and so those things are going to always bubble up for me on like higher priority than working. I worked very little when my cousins and my sister were in town, which is great. But then once everybody flew out of town, I was like, oh crap, look at all, like I felt behind. I still feel behind um, for taking those couple days. But, also recognize that that was time with them that I will never regret spending. So that's for me, that's where values come in. Like, let me shelve my work so that I can spend time on these things. The creative stuff, I haven't had a chance to really I don't know. I haven't even though it's something I value, it hasn't bubbled up enough for me to set time aside to work on it.
Mm.
The other thing is like I think if I'm going to work in my sewing room or my craft room, it's got to be a 2 hour block, and that's a heck of a lot harder to find. But I could also work on it in 30-minute increments or 15-minute increments. Work on a project. So I kind of feel like you know okay, if you value healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle, then your time in the gym is going to bubble up and time to cook or meal prep or order healthy foods to be delivered, whatever that is. That needs to take precedence over working.
I think that that's so important, Desiree, what you said about, I like that because you think about like people that try to force themselves into these boxes too of healthy eating or force themselves into working out. If they're not doing it, it's probably not a high value for them right now. It's probably not something that, yes, is important. Is it something they maybe desire, but it's not something that they value right now? Because when you value something, what I feel like is from values is that that's that tug that's pulling at you that tells you that something is not right. Something is off. Something is like, I value creative stuff. It's who I am. And when I'm not getting that part of myself met, it's the thing that's tugging at me that's causing me to be like feel like something's missing, Doree. Something's not, something is off. And it has to become part of that value. I really wish someone could help me plug that like exercising is a value, but but it's that thing that I believe creates the fuel for that desire to make it into like something that you go, I don't care. I'm going to prioritize this above everything else. And what you find is that when you make that space, it happens. It's like, if I want chocolate cake and I value what that is going to make me feel like, I will myself in the car and drive to the store and go get chocolate cake because I want it. So it's a very important thing. Michelle, talk to us about exercise. Okay.
Yeah, that's so funny. So it's funny that we're kind of talking about this because with my clients, I go through the whole 6 elements of wellness, and what always comes to the top for the majority of the clients that I work with is occupation. Okay, so occupation is like their top piece. And then I think once they get, if they can get a job that they like and respects all their values and everything, then I think everything else kind of goes after that. You know, for me, I would say it would be occupation because I want to make sure that I feel good in the job that I'm doing and I'm enjoying it. Because then I will want to work out. I want to work out, and I'm going to make sure I put that time into my schedule to work out. Because when I feel happy in a job and I feel good working out, the world, I can sit on top of the world and be like, yeah, I'm great. But if I'm not enjoying my job, I don't want to work out. I want to eat shitty food. I want to just sit and be depressed on my couch. And then that's probably where I'm going to binge watch. So I have to value the job that I'm doing, period. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it, doing all the creative things that I need to do, working with a great team, you know, it's amazing. And then that's gonna again motivate me to get up in the mornings to go and work out. Again, working out is a non-negotiable for me. I have to have it in my life somewhere. And if I have to get on my Peloton here, I can do that, or I go and lift weights and stuff like that. So I kind of feel people have to decide what's really important to them. And once they figure that out and they're happy, then they can start adding on the pieces, and then that will make life easier, should I say. Um, So for me, again, occupation and the physical aspect are the two most valuable things for me right now, as well as traveling.
Yeah, you love travel.
That feeds my soul so much, so much. Just don't have the funds right now, so that you can. It's just like, even though I'm heading to Belize at the end of this month, so that was already planned. But as for summer, I don't have anything planned because I've got to gotta get some money. So yeah, that's gonna really affect me.
So I just want to caveat this with I love y'all's input. And like when Doree was like, if you value, healthy eating, then you're going to make that a priority. When my mom was sick, I valued healthy eating, but I didn't have the capacity in my life to eat healthy every day.
Mm,
So if you are in this period of survival where you've got crisis going on, and like for us, we knew that my mom's time on this earth was temporary. So my value shifted in that moment of my value right now is going to be keeping my job because that was financial security and allowed me to work remotely, and my mom. And then I would order some healthy food, but also sometimes it was Popeye's chicken for dinner. And because you're stressed and you were craving unhealthy food when you're stressed like that. So just caveat that with if your life is a tornado right now, your values might shift temporarily, and then you can get back to what you really need to where you need to be. So no shame in that. And our values are going to shift at different times. If you have young children, your work-life balance is going to look very different than if your kids are teenagers and they're able to drive themselves to their own activities.
mhm.
Or if you have a senior in high school and it's their last year at home, like your values might shift temporarily, to spend more time with them and to soak that time in. Um, so, this is something that ebbs and flows. This work-life balance is really fluid, depending on where you are. But I love what you said, Michelle, is like working out is a non-negotiable, and that's what gives you energy. So I've talked
Yes.
very briefly before about anabolic energy, energy that feeds you, and then energy that drains you. So find those activities that feed
Mhm.
you enough to balance out the stuff that drains you.
Yeah, definitely. You don't need people being drained, but they also need to find out what is the thing that drives them, because that's the momentum. So I have to ask Dory, what drives you? What do you think is the most important thing for you?
It drives me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing that drives me crazy. For me, what drives me are my dreams. It is like I have dreams. I have these things that I have in my mind that when I close my eyes and I can just see them and I can feel them. that is what drives me to just and helping people. Y'all, when I'm helping someone and they're like I'm sitting with them and I'm working with them, even if they're not a client, they're just someone that has come to me like for like some help. Even my like one of my stepdaughters comes to me often, and we just had this conversation yesterday. I said, I'm here for you. I'm always here for you. So don't feel, you just call, help. You don't have to go through this alone. Those are the things that make me, when I'm in my purpose and I'm in my jam and I'm in my dreams, that's what fuels me.
And then where can the exercise fit in? I'm teasing.
If I can exercise in my dreams, that would be amazing.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Well, I was going to ask, and now I feel like I'm getting in coach mode. I'm kind of like, okay, tell me about your day. Like, because when I hear people, it's like, oh, I have no time to exercise. I was like, all right, tell me what time you wake up. Like, could you add a like 10-minute little workout here?
I absolutely could. It's not part of my values.
Yeah.
And that is it. I'm a firm believer, like people that smoke, that come to smoke and go, well, I don't have time to not do this and I don't have time, that you find a way to smoke a cigarette.
Mm.
It's part of your value. There's no shame, there's no judgment, but it's part of your values. It's part of what you put forth. And so when exercise becomes a thing where I'm like, I must have this, I will prioritize it in my
Well,
dreams.
in your dreams. You know what? I can I be there with you as well? Because like I'm not a morning person, so I force myself. Are we at the
Yes.
uncomfortable question time, or are
It's,
we?
Yes.
I thought that was it.
Lob it out.
Sorry. We were just going off the cuff here. Well, can't ask that one because we just talked about. Let's see. Oh my God, I've got some good questions, and now
Oh,
I'm trying to decide which one to ask.
Michelle.
Okay, if your time was up in a year, what 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 about the way you're spending your days right now would you regret the most? So if your time is up in a year, what about the ways you're spending your days right now would you regret the most? Go, Dory.
Watching TV. I need my butt needs to be out living and not sitting on a sofa binge watching, how other people are living. I need to be living the life that I want to be living and not watching other people live the life I think I want to live. There we go. Desiree.
Can I be like ridiculously honest, like stupidly honest? I have a lot of guilt about my dog not getting enough exercise. If that's going to get me out walking, it's because my dog needs. I realize that she's anxious a lot of the time, and I think it's because she's not getting enough exercise. And so I really want to spend more time with my pup and outside and let her live her best life. It's not about my heart health. It's because I love my dog so much that I want her to get exercise. That's ridiculous, but it's
No,
true.
but
Yeah.
Minnie brings you heart health. So
Ah,
Yeah.
Minnie,
she's the best.
she's amazing. All right, Michelle.
Um, I would say just sitting in front of my laptop because I do. I want to read more. I want to read more. I love learning. I feel like, I've got these courses that I want to do. Are they getting done? No, because I'm finding other things to do
Mm.
that's that I'm working in my business. And so, yeah, I would like to read more, learn more, do more courses, travel more. I mean, anything else? Yeah, I think that would be it. So, and let me tell you something. So, I went to a wrestling tournament and I had packed my laptop because I was just like, in between, if anyone's ever been to a wrestling tournament, you're sitting through all these weight classes and then you're waiting for your kid or the kids that you're supporting to be in the weight class. And there's from 106 206 to 285. So, there's a lot of weight classes. So I was just like, all right, I'll take my laptop. I can do some work. I forgot my laptop and I was not turning around. I felt lost not having my laptop. And I was sat there, I was like, Michelle, what is wrong with you? Like, you're here to support these kids. It's okay that you've left your laptop at home. But I felt like it stuck to me. And I just don't want that anymore. But I know we do everything behind our screens all day, every day.
Mhm.
If it's not a computer, it's a phone. So yeah. God, all the confessions are coming out today, aren't they?
Who's ready for their quote?
I'll
Um,
go.
okay.
I'm gonna go with something that it's kind of like the anti of the quote, or the kind of, yes, it's the anti of the quote. So we had when I worked at a telecommunications company that shall remain unnamed. Um, but their logo color is, I'm kidding. So one of the things that they always said is follow the shadow of a leader. And so what we talked about earlier today was about how we had bosses that set the precedent of, or like the client you're talking about, Michelle, that felt that had to like respond back within an hour. As leaders, people set the precedent of how their people under like and underneath them are going to behave and respond and that sort of thing. So I challenge that and say, what would happen if you didn't follow the shadow of your leader? What would happen if you stepped out from under the shadow of your leader and become your own leader?
Mm.
Quoted by Doree O'Neill.
Whoop, whoop.
Michelle, do you have one?
I do. If you get tired, learn to rest, not
Ooh,
quit,
I like it.
is by Banksy. But I think the older I'm getting, as I love what you were saying, Dory, like my 3.0 and my 4.0 and my 5.2. Now that I'm in the 5.0, I'm kind of
Welcome
like,
to the club, by the
if
way.
if I know when I need to rest, like
Hmm.
my body, and I'm not ignoring it. I learn to rest. I definitely do learn to rest. And I don't quit, but I definitely learn how to rest and to take time. If I'm like, all right, my body is just like done.
Yeah.
Because some people just like to power on through. Not me anymore. No, 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 no.
So
Desiree, what's your quote?
mine is inspired by things that my dad used to say. He used to say, money is a renewable resource. You can always make more. And everybody has 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. So time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. And that's from Jim
Mm,
Rohn.
Mm.
And that was something I heard a lot from my dad. And, he really valued quality time with us. And when I would say, because I was a college student, and so he'd be like, when you come and visit me? And I was like, oh, I'm busy. And he'd be like, everybody's got 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. It's what you do with your time that matters. And I didn't regret time that I spent with him. We lost him early, but um, yeah. So time is value your time, y'all, because we can't get that back. And money ain't everything. There's a lot of really joyful and happy people in this world that don't have a lot of money. And in our society, we do have to pay bills and stuff like that. Like, I'm not trying to shame people that are struggling, but your time is valuable as well, and your time with loved ones.
yeah.
All right, Dory, what are we talking about in the next episode?
Something that we've seen a lot of, especially since COVID, career transitions. People are finding that what they're doing just isn't working anymore. And they're finding different ways of finding happiness in career paths and finding things that bring them joy, or at least still exploring or trying to find ways, even within their current like system of where they're at, of finding a different career within those. So that's what we're going to talk about next week, is something that I think three of us could definitely relate to. We would be, I think we all started somewhere in corporate America, and now here we are doing what we do. So I'm very excited about this topic.
It's something I see a lot in midlife too. So if you are in midlife and you're in like pondering a career transition, we're going to talk about that. So,
Sure.
if you guys have feedback or questions for us, I just want to remind y'all there's a form link in the show notes. We would love to hear from you. What do you want to hear us talk about? Do you have feedback for us? Yeah, just get in touch and let us know what you think. And
Yeah.
until next time, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Life Coaches Unfiltered. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or follow us on social media. Got a question you've been afraid to ask? Send it our way at lifecoachesunfiltered@gmail.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep questioning, and stay unfiltered.